What's up? I'm back. Day 3 or day 2, either way. Third video about Endgame. Here we go. Alright, so today I'll be talking about small details and within the movie. A big detail, like I said last video, is that Endgame really makes you relive the last 10-11 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And something that I really did enjoy throughout this movie is how it's a relationship between the characters. Now, once again, this video also has spoilers, like the last one. My review had no spoilers, but every video that's coming out this week will have spoilers. So when they go back in time and they separate in teams, you can see, and I'm not surprised, I mean, you can see that each team has been thought out very meticulously. Captain America and Iron Man were together with Hulk and Ant-Man when they go back to New York, and from then on they split. Some stuff happens, and Captain America and Iron Man, they have to go back even further in time to go get some more Pym particles and the Tesseract. Now, it had to be Captain America and Iron Man because they had such a complicated history between them. Not only that, but Steve Rogers, Captain America, is tied. His origin, his story, is everything about him is attached, intertwined with the Stark name. Whether it be his father, Tony's father, Howard Stark, giving him the super soldier serum and the shield. Whether it be Bucky Barnes, the best friend of Captain America, killing Howard and his mother, Howard and his wife, the parents of Tony Stark that we see in Civil War. We learned that everything, and they're falling out. Captain America and Tony's falling out in Civil War 2. Everything. This was their redemption. It really was them coming together as friends, as colleagues, as teammates, almost as brothers, coming together to save the world one last time. For example, another one, Black Widow and Hawkeye. Really, it showed. For example, in the first movie, the first Avenger, we see them fighting and like, just like Budapest and everything. And you see this again when they get to Volmir, I think. Yeah, Volmir, to get the Soul Stone. You see them fight. Each one of them fights to make sure the other person can live. Each person, they are fighting to die. They are fighting each other to know which of them will be able to commit suicide, so the other person can live on, and so that the rest of the world can live on. It really was such a touching moment, and it can seem like a very stupid moment, just like, it's so sweet, but when you look at it, the fact that these characters are also very intertwined, they're best friends, they're almost brother and sister, like the rest of the Avengers. They had something more to that, not romantically or anything. They were just kindred spirits in a very friendly way. Their fight to know which one will live, it was very touching. It was a very heartbreaking moment. Another one, for example, somebody could just dismiss it, but when Bruce Banner goes to see the Grandmaster, Doctor Strange's teacher, somebody would be like, okay, well, it just happened to be him. It could have been Ant-Man. No, not necessarily. Story-wise, maybe, but at the same time, no, because of the plan they had. But when you look at it, they are two collective minds. Each of them, both Bruce Banner and the Grandmaster, they're both rational, great minds. They both know that sacrifices have to be done. They both fight for the same thing, for the stability of the universe. And it couldn't have been Tony. Some people could have been, Iron Man could have done it. No, because he's unstable, he's irrational. And in this movie, we see Bruce and Hulk merging. Really, it's just, we don't see it, but we know it. It just happened. When you see Hulk / Bruce, you see that he has achieved inner peace, and that is why it's him who had to go and face the Grandmaster and ask for this time stone. It was him because he was the collective brain of all of them. He was the only stable one, if you will, during this whole movie. For example, another one that I really did enjoy was War Machine and Nebula. This one was kind of a simple connection. Both of them have broken characters in a way, not in the script or no. Just for example, Rhodey he was paralyzed at the end of the Civil War. Nebula had her almost every part of her body replaced with time every time because of Thanos. Thanos would make Nebula and Gamora fight. Whoever lost got replaced. So this was more of a simple connection, but it was a nice one no matter what. You can see that the writers really did put out a lot of details and thinking into this. For example, another really lovely scene, very touching scene, is Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch. At the end of Tony's funeral, you can see them talking because not only both of them did lose somebody very precious to them. Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, and Wanda. Hawkeye lost Black Widow, and Scarlet Witch lost Vision. They both lost somebody close to their heart, but they still had a very mentor-student, father-daughter relationship that they built back in not only the first in Avengers Age of Ultron Part 1 and Part 2, but in also Civil War. They had a very loving and touching connection. Mainly, my guess is mainly because, for example, in the comic books, Hawkeye had like a very abusive father, so he was pretty much on his own. And Wanda, Scarlet Witch, and with her brother, they had a very abusive relationship with the government, with the Sokovia government testing on them and everything. So he knows what she's been through. He knows all of that, and so it was just a very touching scene. Everything was well done. For example, the fact that the motivation that Tony had to come back to help the team figure out the whole time travel scenario. The fact of seeing his picture with Peter Parker, with Tom Holland, really cements that, because even with Tony having a daughter in this movie, Peter has been sort of his son, no matter what. Since Civil War, Peter has been Tony's son in this universe. They had a very father, kind of like the same thing as Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch. They have had a very loving teacher, mentor, student, and father-son relationship that he couldn't have just left it there, and everybody knows that. And a fun little Easter egg is you can actually see Hank Ant-Man's original comic book hat in one of the scenes, and that's a very nice little touch. For example, another good stuff. I know this whole scenario was a bit dark. There was a lot of little jokes. For example, in the final battle, when Peter has the gauntlet with the Infinity Stones and he's surrounded, when he goes activate instant kill mode, some people will be like, "Oh, okay, that's funny. It's just he needs help." But if you remember correctly, it is a direct connection to Homecoming, when he has for the first time the suit on. He unlocked all the features with the help of his friend Ned, and he asked for the suit, which to let it choose the preferred setting for the situation, and it activates instant kill mode. You see Peter scared, like, no, I don't need that, and he deactivates it, and he knows that in this instant, and at the final battle, he needs the suit. He needs that instant kill mode. So it's a very nice nudge to that. Something that something really cool, and that for the Easter eggs is that, for example, back in when they time travel, Loki found the Tesseract and he disappeared. It kind of altered the timeline, but I personally believe that's what will lead to his spin-off show, because as you may not know this, or you may, Disney released his new platform, and it has been announced that there will be a movie, a TV show with Loki, and Tom Hiddleston is the character, will be playing Loki. A very pretty obvious detail was the whole final scene with towards the final scene when all the women come together to help Spider-Man and Captain Marvel get the gauntlet. It's a very nice scene when they like, she will not be alone, and there's Valkyrie, Ukunde, pretty much every woman from Marvel, Pepper Pot with her Iron Man suit on. It was an incredible scene. It really was a very nice and empowering scene. I know it was a very cliche scene in a way, because some people will be like, oh, they did that scene to show women empowerment and everything. Yes, they did, but in my opinion, they did it right. The scene didn't feel extra. The scene didn't feel out of place. It was just on point, personally, for me. So yeah, that's it for me in terms of details, little Easter eggs, kind of, and all the whole thing, the whole story in general. So see you tomorrow. Another last video, I believe. We'll see. Peace out.